The sound of a prison door closing, that's definitive. But what happens when it opens? As a former prosecutor, I saw women entering the system. Now, as the executive director for the Ladies Empowerment and Action Program, I get to see what happens when the women walk out of those prison gates. Before I've ever stepped into a courtroom, I had the opportunity to see what happens when someone's given a second chance. When I was a little girl, my grandmother was arrested. The prosecutor showed mercy and she was not sent to prison. Thanks to that one act of mercy, that one second chance, she was able to work, to rebuild her life, and to support her family. And ultimately, she was able to help me go to Georgetown Law School. Now I'm the mother of a daughter who's in medical school and another who's in law school. There's been a ripple effect that has extended over 3 generations. As a prosecutor, I saw what was missing was that women that came in my courtroom, they did not have that same second chance that my grandmother received. They had no hope, and the result was they continued to come back. I saw that what was needed was something to be there to bridge the gap between prison and community. 9 years ago, I walked into a prison as a volunteer with no intention of changing my career. It was a small program called LEAP, and I fell in love immediately with the work and with the women. And as soon as I got involved, the founders had made the decision that they could not go on. They were getting older and they were burnt out, and LEAP was going to close. As a temporary fix, for a short while, for a few weeks, I agreed to step in an effort to keep the program going. And what became a short-term fix became my life's purpose, my life's passion. And now 9 years later, I have found myself leading LEAP. When my mom found out that I was working with women in prison, she was somewhat aghast and asked me why. Why women in prison? They've committed crimes. Why not children? Why not women who've suffered abuse? She just couldn't understand. And my mom is a very generous person, so I could see that she had the same misconception that I had as a prosecutor and that many people in the public have. And the truth is that the women in prison are grown-up versions of those kids who had been abused. They were survivors of domestic violence. And the problem is not with the women, the problem is the fact that society did not give them the services they needed to begin with. And more importantly, the issue is what's going to happen when they get out. The biggest obstacle is the lack of employment, the lack of housing, the discrimination. In the state of Florida, a woman walking out of prison gets $50. No phone, no clothing, no bus pass, no links to employment. The system is designed to fail them, and then we blame them and wonder why the cycle repeats. So at LEAP, we fill in those gaps, starting the moment that a woman walks out of prison. Those first 72 hours are critical. Women are picked up on their first day as they walked out the gate. The first order of business is a hug, because hugging is not allowed in prison. Then there's lunch, because food in prison is horrible. Then it's to navigate all of the barriers that are required of somebody coming out. Somebody without resources, somebody without a car, they have to go to the sheriff's office to register. Then they have to go to a different location to register for probation. And instead of having to navigate all of this on their own, they're able to do this with a LEAP family member that they've already met inside the prison, because that work, that support has to start on the inside. So before they even walk out of the gate, there's 5 months of programming. And in those 5 months, The instructors become like family, because it's not just about teaching somebody job skills, it's providing a sense of self-worth. And we do that by teaching entrepreneurship, workforce readiness. We look at the trauma and addiction was really the source of why they got there at the beginning. So that happens for 5 months, 5 days a week. And then really the amazing thing is that the women coming out often don't have a place to live. So they're taken to the Leap House, which is beautiful in a safe neighborhood. It's furnished and it is a sanctuary. And literally on their second day out, if they're ready, if they're able, they have a job at the Dragonfly. We have our own little social enterprise, the Dragonfly Thrift Boutique, where the women are able to come and have a first job, a first paycheck in a supportive environment. I call it a soft landing. They can work and earn a paycheck, but in an environment that allows them to readjust to society and to also fulfill all of their obligations. And the other thing that's happening during all of this time is dentist appointments, trauma therapy, health doctor's appointments, reuniting with children. Oftentimes the women coming out are estranged from their family, and it takes that first phone call and it takes time to reestablish those relationships. So all of this is happening while they're at the Leap House and while they're at Dragonfly, because to us, women are like the dragonflies. They sort of evolve underwater, and when they come out and you see their beautiful wings, you have no idea what they went through to reach that glorious state. And I always tell the women, you're not butterflies, you're dragonflies. It seems much more fierce and fitting for them. So when a woman's life is changed, it's not just about her, and it's not just about her family. It's about the entire community, right? We get women in the workforce who are ready, willing, and able to work and wanting to contribute to the tax base. We have fewer women in need of services. We have a safer community when they are not forced to go out and commit crime and go back to prison. It's a win-win-win situation. The thing that keeps me up at night is that we are serving only a fraction of the women who need our help. We rely on private donors and private foundations and the community to step up and do this work with us. And so what do we need? Obviously, we need funding. We cannot survive without it day to day, and we most certainly cannot go out and serve more women and expand beyond where we are right now. And that is something that is of critical importance. We need employers who will hire women who are ready, willing, and able to work. We need landlords willing, when a woman saves up her first, last, and security deposit, willing to rent to her, willing to give her a chance. And we're not just talking about a second chance. We're talking about, in many times, a first chance in their entire life, a fair chance. We need people who will shop at Dragonfly and tell every single person that they know to shop at Dragonfly. People who will donate their gently used or new items to the store. We need mentors. There's a zillion ways to get involved with LEAP and the women that we are privileged to serve, and we invite you to join us in this beautiful mission. What I hope people watching this will understand is that women in the justice system are not a burden that needs to be managed. They are a resource, untapped potential that just needs to be leveraged. Here in Miami, we have the opportunity to be a national model for what happens when we make a strategic investment in the human beings coming out of our jails and prisons every day. The most powerful act of justice isn't locking someone up. It's creating the opportunity for them to transform, to take that leap. Will you take it with us?